So listening is actually one of those skills, as a social skill, is actually very underused. So even if most people, when they have a conversation, they only keep quiet because they're waiting for a gap in the conversation so they can butt in with what they want to talk about. But if you genuinely listen to what people are saying, you actually get a lot of benefit from that. So on Twitter, you want to monitor for mentions. So obviously, you would want to respond if somebody tweets to you directly. So if they say, use my name at Nicky Kriel, I would see that in my notifications and I could respond. But sometimes people don't know your Twitter name. So you also want to monitor for any other mentions of your business name. So it's useful to have those searches and notifications happening so that you actually monitor that. And you can set up, there's a nice little tool called Mentions, which will actually pick up a lot of your social media comments of where people talk about you on Twitter, say if they use your name, so in my case, Nicky Kriel, as 2 separate words without using my Twitter name, I will get a little email to say that people have done that. So that's Mentions, which is a really useful tool. But also listening to conversations, and we'll talk a bit about Twitter lists, a little bit more about Twitter lists. You can actually find out what your customers are thinking and what they're talking about, what's interesting to them. Because if you talk about what's interesting to them, they're more likely to come to you rather than always talking about what you wanted to talk about. So it's not about selling yourself and what your product or your service, is actually finding out what they actually need and what they want and how they talk and what their problems are, because then you can really help them and you can solve their problems for them. And there's a wealth of information within Twitter if you just listen to it.